Have you ever paused to consider the number of lifetimes you have remaining? Many individuals steer clear of this inquiry, as it stirs significant anxieties regarding mortality, meaning, and the fleeting nature of time. However, Edgar Cayce, often referred to as the sleeping prophet, uncovered something unsettling about this inquiry that can profoundly alter your perspective on your current life. The revelations he made during his recorded sessions are bound to resonate deeply with you. Having accessed insights from more than 14,000 psychic readings, which are preserved at the Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, he disclosed that your future lifetimes are not governed by any fixed cosmic blueprint. A much more disturbing factor influences your cycle of reincarnation: the spiritual decisions you are making in this lifetime, often without even realizing it. Over the next half hour, I will disclose what Edgar Cayce's insights reveal regarding these cycles. We will explore the spiritual laws that dictate when your soul no longer requires reincarnation, along with the warning signs that reveal if you are progressing spiritually or merely cycling through the same experiences in each lifetime. But before we dive in, if this inquiry has lingered in your mind, make sure to subscribe and activate that notification bell. This significant insight must connect with those courageous enough to confront the truths of their own souls. What may unsettle you regarding Cayce's recorded observations is this: his analyses repeatedly indicated that reincarnation does not hinge on fulfilling a precise count of lifetimes. As per the records held by ARE, Cayce conveyed that souls engage in reincarnation until they reach specific stages of spiritual evolution. Some souls advance swiftly, whereas others find themselves trapped in cyclical behaviors for lengthy durations. The slumbering seer Edgar Cayce provided more than 14,000 recorded psychic readings from 1901 to 1945. When individuals inquired about reincarnation and their spiritual destinies, his replies invariably highlighted one unsettling fact: the evolution of your spirit in this lifetime influences every aspect of your future incarnations. However, there's something even more disturbing within Cayce's archived readings. He found that numerous souls fail to recognize that they are continually facing similar spiritual obstacles in each lifetime, drawing in alike situations and relationships due to not having grasped the lessons their souls intended to learn. Based on Cayce's recorded teachings, the process of reincarnation is intended for spiritual growth and the resolution of karma. His insights imply that every lifetime offers chances to cultivate your spirituality, rectify previous errors, and assist others in significant manners. What is particularly troubling in Cayce's readings is the indication that if you do not achieve spiritual advancement during this life, you will probably encounter similar obstacles in future existences, typically in tougher conditions. Your soul continues to provide opportunities for learning until you ultimately grasp the lesson. But this is where things become truly disconcerting. Cayce's insights indicate that souls may stay trapped in cycles of reincarnation for extended times if they continually avoid spiritual development or fail to learn from their life experiences. What factors influence spiritual progress based on Cayce's recorded findings? His readings consistently highlight several essential principles that souls must cultivate to transcend the necessity for earthly lives. Moreover, Cayce's archived sessions underscore the critical role of forgiveness as a cornerstone of spiritual advancement. His recorded examples demonstrate that souls burdened by resentment, anger, or inability to forgive forge karmic ties that draw them back to the earthly realm to address these unresolved issues in subsequent lives. This is the point at which numerous souls face their most significant trials. According to Cayce's insights, Holding on to resentment or resisting forgiveness leads to spiritual barriers that hinder a soul's ability to move on from earthly life, no matter how many other positive traits it may cultivate. Another recurring theme in Cayce's documented insights is the importance of nurturing unconditional love and compassion. His readings emphasize that evolving souls must learn to recognize everyone as spiritual entities, regardless of their conduct or actions. The materials preserved by Cayce indicate that souls need to cultivate the capacity to respond with love and empathy, even towards those who have inflicted pain or hardship upon them. This level of spiritual development marks an important progression away from the necessity of physical embodiment. However, there's another concept highlighted in Cayce's readings that poses a considerable challenge for souls to master, and grasping it will clarify why numerous souls find themselves trapped in cycles of reincarnation for long durations. These documented insights repeatedly underscore the significance of synchronizing one's personal intentions with divine intentions. This does not imply passivity. Instead, it entails embracing the pursuit of spiritual objectives over merely self-serving desires. According to Cayce's philosophies, those souls that concentrate predominantly on material achievements, seeking personal acclaim, or attempting to manipulate situations for their own gain foster attachments that tether them to physical reality. These spiritual bonds function as shackles that necessitate further lifetimes for resolution. What is particularly worrisome about Cayce's teachings on reincarnation is that his readings suggest souls have free will in every incarnation, implying that spiritual advancement is not a given. It is possible to regress in one's spiritual journey if one consistently makes poor choices. According to Cayce's recorded readings, souls may accrue extra karmic debts rather than merely develop negative traits, or they might become more spiritually resistant than they were in their past lives. This implies that certain souls may currently be more distant from achieving spiritual graduation than they were in their previous lives. However, there is an even more unsettling aspect highlighted in Cayce's readings pertaining to contemporary times. His recorded findings indicate that souls reincarnating in recent centuries encounter distinct spiritual hurdles that render progress not only more essential, but also more challenging. According to Cayce's preserved readings, advancements in technology and material wealth, without parallel spiritual development, lead to imbalances in human consciousness. Today's souls are compelled to contend with materialism, instant gratification, and a lack of spiritual connection that were absent in more straightforward historical eras. This situation brings about what could be termed a spiritual crossroads. In today's world, souls can tap into a wealth of spiritual insights and doctrines, yet they are also confronted with unparalleled distractions and temptations that might hinder their spiritual journey if they don't exercise caution in their decisions. So how can one discern if they are making strides on their spiritual path in this lifetime? Cayce's readings offer clues that indicate whether your soul is evolving or caught in cyclical patterns. Recognizing these indicators could shape your entire spiritual destiny. Based on Cayce's recorded accounts, evolving souls exhibit particular reactions to the obstacles they encounter in life. They come to see hardships as chances for spiritual development, rather than mere unfortunate events or causes for bitterness. If your typical response to challenges involves blame, feeling like a victim, or harboring resentment, Cayce's teachings indicate that you may be overlooking the spiritual lessons intended by these experiences. This behavior could suggest these learning opportunities will recur in subsequent lifetimes. Most souls, as reflected in Cayce's documented cases, cultivate the capacity to uphold inner tranquility and a spiritual viewpoint, even amidst difficult situations. They recognize that every circumstance holds possibilities for spiritual growth when approached with the appropriate mindset. Another sign relates to your relationships, particularly the challenging ones. Cayce's insights consistently revealed that souls draw in connections that offer chances to cultivate spiritual qualities such as patience, compassion, and forgiveness. If your relationships frequently entail drama, conflict, or emotional upheaval, this could suggest lingering spiritual issues that need to be addressed. The documented findings of Cayce indicate that souls frequently reincarnate in groups, navigating various lessons and conflicts together through numerous lifetimes. However, there's an intriguing aspect of Cayce's insights on soul connections that you may not expect. His interpretations suggest that the most difficult relationships you encounter frequently involve souls with whom you've had past life interactions. These encounters offer chances to opt for healing rather than pain, and insight rather than criticism. A third point emerges consistently in Cayce's accounts: your drive to serve others. His recorded cases illustrate that souls on a spiritual path naturally cultivate a sincere wish to assist in the healing and elevation of others, all without seeking personal gain or acknowledgement. As per Cayce's insights, progressing spiritually necessitates transcending self-interest to genuinely care for the well-being of others. Individuals who concentrate mainly on personal achievements, comfort, or the accumulation of material wealth generally require further learning opportunities to cultivate a more expansive spiritual outlook. I'd like to share insights from Cayce's readings regarding how to enhance your spiritual journey in this lifetime, which could potentially decrease the necessity for future lifetimes and facilitate your progress in ways that might surprise you. The archived readings from Cayce strongly highlighted the importance of daily spiritual practices as vital for the development of the soul. Engaging in prayer, meditation, and studying spiritual concepts creates the inner environment needed for swift spiritual advancement and heightened awareness. Furthermore, according to Cayce's teachings, it is essential that spiritual practices are integrated with practical actions in everyday life. Simply reading about forgiveness is not enough. It is imperative to actively practice forgiving those who have caused you pain. Gaining knowledge about love is not sufficient. It's essential to express loving behavior through your actions and decisions. Cayce's recorded insights further highlight the significance of being attentive to dreams for spiritual growth. His teachings suggest that while we sleep, our souls receive mentorship, guidance, and healing from elevated spiritual realms. Engaging with and interpreting your dreams can greatly enhance your spiritual advancement. However, it's worth noting that some of Cayce's later readings indicate a peculiar sense of urgency for souls that are currently in physical form. His documented findings suggest that the Earth is experiencing a process of spiritual evolution, which may influence future chances for incarnation given today's circumstances. Based on specific readings from Cayce's archives, the consciousness of the planet is progressing, potentially making the act of incarnation more difficult for souls that are less spiritually evolved. Essentially, Earth's spiritual environment is advancing to elevated states of awareness. This does not imply disastrous changes. Instead, it indicates that the chances for spiritual growth within the current earthly framework may not last forever. In the future, the prospects of incarnation could demand a higher degree of spiritual development than what is required at present. Here's what this implies for your present lifetime. If Cayce's insights hold true, you're experiencing a time rich with spiritual chances. The knowledge you gain, the spiritual advancements you achieve, and the love you cultivate in this life may carry exceptional significance for your soul's journey ahead. The most alarming factor in Cayce's teachings on reincarnation isn't merely the chance of numerous future existences. It's the risk of squandering this invaluable life by prioritizing fleeting issues over lasting spiritual growth that surpasses mere physical life. Each day spent preoccupied with material concerns, harboring resentments, judging others, or indulging in selfishness signifies lost chances for spiritual growth. In contrast, every moment dedicated to prayer, acts of service, forgiveness, and love propels your soul forward in its journey toward liberation from earthly life. According to Cayce's documented insights, those souls nearing graduation often notice heightened spiritual sensitivity, profound dreams, healing capabilities, or a deepened urge to assist humanity. These could serve as indicators that your soul is gearing up to move beyond the necessity of physical existence. However, a crucial caution from Cayce's findings remains. Even souls achieving notable spiritual progress may face obstacles if they succumb to spiritual arrogance, misuse their talents, or cease to cultivate love and service toward others. Based on his archived readings, spiritual pride is identified as one of the most significant threats to souls in progress. The moment you start feeling above others due to your spiritual advancement, or anticipate special acknowledgement for your development, you establish spiritual hurdles that necessitate resolution through further learning experiences. So how many lives do you have remaining? According to the documented teachings of Edgar Cayce, this question can only be addressed by assessing your present spiritual decisions, relationships, daily habits, and reactions to life's obstacles. If you are cultivating genuine love for all individuals, truly practicing forgiveness, selflessly serving others, and aligning your will with spiritual aims, you may be nearing your final earthly incarnations. However, if you are still influenced by bitterness, selfish motives, material bonds, or spiritual arrogance, it's probable that you have considerable spiritual work ahead of you, potentially spanning many future lives. The enlightening reality in Cayce's teachings on reincarnation is that spiritual advancement is achievable. With committed spiritual practice, mindful decisions, and sincere service to others, you can achieve remarkable spiritual progress within one lifetime. Yet, it's essential to start without delay. Each moment of this life offers chances to select love instead of fear, forgiveness rather than bitterness, and service over self-interest. The decisions you make influence not only your present happiness, but also the entire trajectory of your soul's future. Cayce's insights regarding your remaining lifetimes focus less on numerical values and more on the spiritual introspection prompted by a genuine assessment of your current choices, beliefs, and behaviors. What lessons does this spiritual reflection impart about your soul's development? One of the most significant elements of Cayce's teachings is the idea that your cycle of reincarnation can conclude whenever you reach a certain level of spiritual growth. The key question isn't the number of fated lives that lie ahead, but rather, how much spiritual progress you are ready to pursue in this invaluable life you are currently experiencing. If this examination of your soul's journey has expanded your awareness to new opportunities, consider subscribing and sharing this video with others who are prepared to embrace their spiritual growth. The deep insights of Edgar Cayce merit reaching every individual earnestly pursuing spiritual truth and progress. Keep in mind that, based on Cayce's documented insights, the future of your spiritual path is shaped by the decisions you make daily. Each choice to opt for love instead of judgment, forgiveness rather than anger, and service over selfishness brings you closer to completing your earthly lessons once and for all. The daunting yet empowering reality is that your future lifetimes rest entirely in your hands. What will you select today to further your soul's path toward its ultimate earthly existence?